Ready? Up. Up. Yeah, good boy. Stay there. Yeah, stay there. If you've watched any of my reviews, you'll know that I get excited to try journals from Australian journal companies, but a few times I've been disappointed. The journal from Slow Journal performs really well, but it didn't knock my socks off. Hi, I'm Ruby from The Useful Journal. Like this video and subscribe to my channel for a huge range of reviews of journals with paper between 52 GSM and 180 GSM. Today I'm reviewing a 160 GSM journal by Slow Journal. I will talk to you about the company and their products. I will talk to you about the packaging of the journal, the construction, features and markings of the journal. I will talk about the paper and go through my pen test, and I will talk about the company's approach to sustainability. Slow Journal is a small business owned by Tao and based in Sydney, Australia, and the journals are made in China. Journals are available through the Slow Journal website and through Slow Journal's Etsy account, but nowhere else. They ship to Australia, New Zealand and the US only. There are 4 different journal covers, each linen with a gold foil stamped icon. They are only available in A5 and have 192 pages. I can't use the US price as an accurate guide because I'd have to rely on a currency conversion website. A rough estimate is $32 to $34 US for a journal, but that isn't accounting for taxes. It's just a straight conversion. But if you did just the straight conversion, it works out at about 17 to 18 cents per page. And an Atra and Olive journal is 18 cents a page. So if we count for taxes and import fees and all that sort of thing, I think we can assume that it's likely to be more expensive per page than an Atra and Olive in America. I'll do a more accurate assessment for Australians. The Slow Journal is $49 Australian, and then there is a $10 shipping fee, and then you can get the journal free shipping if you spend over $120 Australian. The journal has 192 pages, so that works out at 26 Australian cents per page, and then if you factor in the shipping, it comes to 31 cents per page. A Notebook Therapy journal has 176 pages, and they have free shipping, and the journal in Australia costs $48.50 Australian, so that then works out at 28 cents a page Australian dollars. The journal comes in a recycled card mailer. The journal is beautifully presented in tissue paper tied with string, and a handwritten card and 2 free stickers. The journal is enclosed in a glossy white box with the Slow Journal brand on it, wrapped in thin plastic. Inside the box we find the journal with a belly band. My journal has a linen cover with a gold foil stamped eucalyptus leaf on the front cover. The brand name is on the back cover. The journal has a strong chemical smell when you first take it out of its plastic shrink wrap. I've had my journal now for over a year and it doesn't have an obvious chemical smell anymore, but if you put it close to your nose and sniff it, you can still smell that chemical smell there. It is closed with a 7mm elastic that feels nice and secure without imprinting on the cover. There is a pen loop in a colour that matches the cover, which is glued in between the cover and the rear concertina style pocket. There are 2 ribbons that reach around the corner of the book. The page edges are plain and have rounded corners. There is 1 perforated page at the end of the journal. The journal weighs 585 grams and is 26mm thick, which is the same weight as an Atra and Olive with the same number of pages, but just slightly thicker by 2mm. The journal has a stitched book binding and lays flat when opened. The ribbons are glued to the binding and have a lining paper glued over them. The pages sit neatly inside the cover on all sides. There are 12 signatures. The joins between the signatures are very good. There is no glue showing, no tearing, but the pages do sit up a little from the spine, so you lose a little of the width of your page where the signatures join. I don't often have to comment on the pages where the stitches come through, but in this case they feel a little loose and the holes punched through the paper for the stitching are obvious. In 2 of the 12 signatures there was a small amount of tearing where glue had snuck through the stitch and glued the pages together. I can't comment on the overall durability of the journal at this stage. The journal has a decorative lining page at the front of the journal, but there's not one at the rear where the last dot grid page is immediately inside the back cover. That's the perforated one. There is an owner page, a key page, and 2 index pages. There are page numbers that are located inside the grid, but at least they sit inside where your lines would go if you were ruling out boxes on your page, unlike, for instance, the Dingbats journal. The page numbers start after the index and go to the very last page. There are 27 dots across the page and 41 dots down the page that are very slightly lighter than average, making them a good darkness that doesn't stand out. They are a consistent distance from all edges of the page, including the middle, and are well aligned across the double page spread. The bad news is that while they are spaced 5mm apart across the page, the spacing has been mucked up down the page. An additional 5mm sneaks in by the time you get to the bottom of the page, so where 38 spaces should equal 19 centimetres, it's actually 18.5 centimetres. This means your ruler is not going to be your friend. The 160 GSM paper is white and reasonably smooth. It's uncoated, but the sizing in the paper causes an uneven spotted finish when using watercolour paints with lots of water. The spots didn't show up in my decorative painting. There was no bleed through or ghosting in my pen test or from light use of watercolours, with even the Sharpie Ultrafine marker only just visible through the page. I did an additional test with Tombow markers, colouring a picture, and on this one there was a little bleed through as there was for the wet on wet watercolour test. So the paper can cope with water and wet inks to a degree, but they will start to show through if there's too much. Fountain pens did not feather or spread and look quite good, so it's a positive for them. There's a slight shadow remaining after erasing lead pencil, but smear tests were more positive. You only have to wait 5 seconds after using a Pigma Micron before it dries and you can wipe your hand across the page. There was minimal smearing of the ink from a highlighter, so let it dry a while and you're probably fine. It's so nice to have a 160 GSM journal that doesn't smear. Watercolour paints look okay on the paper if you don't use too much water. They soak in quickly and allow you to play with them a little with no pooling of water or movement of pigment. The water causes the page to crinkle a little more than I usually see in a 160 GSM journal. This is a teeny tiny business and the journals don't have certified sustainable forestry paper, but they are trying to do something by donating a small amount to tree planting charities each time someone buys a journal. There is no separate page addressing sustainability. I also wish they provided some kind of summary of their contributions so that we actually know that something's happening and we're getting some feedback. Slow Journal does not address social responsibility, which is pretty typical of a business this size. While Notebook Therapy might be cheaper and have a lot more cover options, you'll know if you've seen my review of them that I'm not a huge fan of their business model. You may just prefer to support an Australian business and get personal service. If you do buy a Slow journal, you're not getting a bad journal, but I have to say Quirky Cup Collective is another Australian journal business and their paper is better. We don't have that many options in Australia for buying journals from Australian-owned companies, particularly 160 GSM journals. So if you do want to support an Australian business, you could always bring the price down by buying two and then getting the free shipping charge. I don't know who decided that 160 GSM journals had to be covered in linen or leatherette and had to have a foiled icon in the middle of the front cover. I'm getting a bit bored with this aesthetic because it's just so common now, and I'm quite relieved that Archer and Olive has made the decision to branch out a bit and try some other cover designs which have actually been very popular with their followers. So I encourage businesses to try and think outside the box and come up with some more interesting covers for us. I hope you found this review useful. Please like my video, subscribe to my channel for more journal reviews and creative journaling ideas. See ya!